Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Aurora C Hype Train. I of course am Sir Beardian, and today it is finally here. No, not C#, sorry to say, but our long-awaited discussion on one of the biggest changes in C#, ground forces. That's right, the total and complete overhaul of the entire ground forces, ground units, invasion, boarding, and everything to do with sending lots of little people down onto the ground to get dirty and smelly and romp around in the mud with the filthy Xeno. So what's it all about? Well, the VB6 ground unit becomes the formation, and the VB6 ground unit type becomes the formation template. However, there are no longer any fixed unit types or unit values. Instead, there is endless scope for formations and formation templates based on a detailed design process at the formation level and below. This will allow the simulation of ground forces from many science fiction genres. The most granular level is the ground unit class, which is an individual soldier or vehicle. One or more of the same ground unit class are grouped into formation elements, which in turn are grouped into formations. Formations remain intact for movement purposes, but combat involves each individual unit, soldier or vehicle. As individual units are now tracked for casualty purposes, readiness no longer exists. Morale is tracked at the formation element level, which is a group of the same unit class. So the infantry in a formation may have a different morale than the anti-tank guns or artillery. The process of design starts with the ground unit class. Two important factors in the design process are the racial armor strength and racial weapon strength, shown at the top of the ground forces window. Racial armor strength is based on the strength of the highest racial armor technology. Conventional armor is 3, Duranium armor is 5, etc. For this screenshot, the Commonwealth has researched ceramic composite, which has a strength of 10. Racial weapon strength is based on the highest tech level amongst laser focal size, railgun type, meson focal size, particle beam strength, and carronade caliber. For example, 15cm laser focal size is tech level 3, as is the third tech of that type. Racial weapon strength is the value of armor at the same tech level. In this case, the Commonwealth has researched 20cm laser focal size, which is tech level 4. The fourth armor tech is ceramic composite, which has a strength of 10, so the racial weapon strength is 10. The reason for using armor as the basis of weapon strength is partly because that means ground armor and ground weaponry are aligned, and partly because it is a straightforward way to assign a value based on very different weapons. The ground unit design tab of the new ground forces window is shown. First, a base type is chosen, which is infantry. Several choices are vehicle or static. Static in this sense is a weapon that is not self-mobile, such as a towed anti-tank gun, towed artillery, etc. Static weapons remain in place when firing, so they are easier to hit than infantry or vehicles. Each base type has 6 main characteristics. Size in tons is the basis transport requirement and cost, although there are other modifiers to cost below. Hit points are compared to weapon damage during combat to determine the chance of destruction, the damage check. The chance of weapon destroying a unit is weapon damage divided by hit points squared. Slots is the number of component slots available for the base type. 2-hit modifier is used to modify the chance of the unit being hit during combat based on the mobility of the unit, and only applies if the unit is not fortified. Maximum fortification is the maximum strength to which the unit can be fortified by construction factories or construction units. The chance to hit for firing unit is divided by the fortification level of the target unit. And maximum self-fortification is the maximum strength to which the unit can be fortified without construction factories or construction units. The next section is armor type. The armor of a unit is compared to the armor penetration value of a weapon. The chance to penetrate is equal to AP divided by armor squared. For example, a weapon with AP 4 attacking a unit with armor 6 has a 45% chance to penetrate. The overall process for checking if a shot destroys a target is chance to hit, followed by armor penetration check, followed by damage check. All 3 must be successful to destroy the target. Each type of armor has two values. The base AR is multiplied by unit size, including components below, to determine cost. So a unit with 6 armor will be 50% more effective than the same unit with 4 armor. Racial AR is the base armor rating multiplied by the racial armor strength, shown at the top of the window. Below the base type and armor is a large section showing components. Infantry, static, and light vehicles all have one component slot. Vehicles and heavy vehicles have 2 slots, while super heavy and ultra heavy vehicles have 3 and 4 slots respectively. Each slot can hold one component from the list, and the same component can be put into multiple slots. Certain components are only available with certain base types. For example, the super heavy anti-vehicle component can only be used by super heavy and ultra heavy vehicles. The primary component is selected from the main table, while any additional components are selected from the drop-downs below the main table. Each component has a name and an abbreviation and is rated in 9 different areas. The size, in tons, is added to the size of the base unit type. Weapons have an AP rating, which is the underlying AP of the component multiplied by the racial weapon strength. The damage rating, which is the underlying value of the component multiplied by the racial weapon strength. And the number of shots, which is the number of times the weapon will fire during each ground combat phase. There are also additional components, such as the Qs. The Y indicates this component is a close-in weapon system capable of defending the planet on which the unit is based from missile attack. The Qs component will use the values in the Qs section, which will become visible when a Qs component is selected. More on this in later rules posts. STO indicates that a component is a surface-to-orbit energy weapon capable of gauging ships in space within weapon range of the planet on which the unit is based. The weapon type used for STO component can be selected in the selection to the center right, which will become visible when an STO component is selected. HQ is the headquarters capacity of the component in tons. This is the total size of the formation or formation hierarchy that can be effectively controlled by a commander based in a unit with this component. To assign a commander to a formation, one of the units within that formation requires a headquarter component. FFD indicates the component is a forward fire direction component. Forward fire direction allows a frontline unit to direct the fire of bombardment units from a formation in a support position, fighters on close air support missions, or ships in orbit. And construction, the construction value of the component in construction factory equivalents. At the top right of the window is the capability section. One or more capabilities can be selected for the unit class. The boarding combat capability is required for a unit to be able to board another ship. For all other capabilities, the chance to hit is doubled in the environment specified. If a unit has multiple capabilities, such as mountain warfare and jungle warfare, on a world with the dominant terrain of a jungle mountain, this bonus is cumulative, i.e. 4 times 2 hit in this case. Each capability selected for a unit will increase the cost by the multiple specified. Some capabilities are only available for infantry. In the bottom right section, a summary of the unit is shown in a similar style to the class summary for naval designs. When the sizes of all the units in a formation are aggregated, that is the transport requirement for that formation in tons. Cost is in BP. When the costs of all the units in a formation are aggregated, that is the build point requirement to construct the formation. Armor and hit points have been described previously. Below that is a list of components, followed by the materials required for construction and the research cost to develop the unit once designed. Here we have an example of a static unit with an STO component selected. The chosen weapon, which is any non-turreted weapon developed for shipboard use, is selected on the right. Spinal weapons can be selected for ground use without penalty. The STO mount includes the weapon, a reactor of the exact size needed for the recharge rate, an active sensor with range greater than the weapon range, and a built-in beam fire control with a 4 times range modifier. The cost is equal to the static platform, the weapon, the reactor, the active sensor, and half the fire control. STO weapons have a 25% bonus to fire control range. The damage shows 2 numbers, which is the damage at minimum and maximum range. Next, we move on to formation templates themselves. The screenshot below shows the Formation Templates tab out of the Ground Forces window. The formation templates are the equivalent of VB6 ground unit types. although it might be easier to think of them as serving the same function as ship classes. They are the detailed design that serves as a template for building formations based on that same design, which is the same relationship as ship classes to ships. This tab is split into two halves. On the left is a list of available ground unit classes created using the Unit Class Design tab, as explained previously. All of these were created using Tech Level 4 technology, with 3 exceptions. For comparison purposes, the Challenger 2 main battle tank and the Warrior AFV were created using conventional rather than trans-Newtonian technology, while the Challenger's base TN upgrade was the Challenger design with Tech Level 1 technology. It should be possible to simulate most modern army units with the new C# Aurora ground combat, so you could theoretically be landing on an alien world with Abrams and Bradleys or T-14 and T-15 armadas. The 10 columns for the unit class list are as follows: type, an abbreviation for the base type, say infantry vehicle, heavy vehicle, etc. The name assigned during unit class design, which can be changed using the rename unit button. The size, or the transport size in tons. The cost in build points. The armor strength of the unit, based on the armor available at the time of design and is not upgraded with newer technology becomes available. Hit points, which is the raw hit points of the unit set at the design time and does not change. And components A through D, abbreviations for each of the components included in the unit class. These are the same abbreviations as used on the components table in the Unit Class Design tab. As with armor and hit points, any components use the technology available at the time of unit design. To see the detailed view of the components, click on the unit. The unit summary will be shown in the bottom section of the left-hand side. As an example, the Lehman Russ battle tank is a heavy vehicle of 104 tons with 60 armor and 60 hit points, costing 12.48 BP. The components are heavy anti-vehicle, HAV, and crew-served anti-personnel, HCAP. Looking at the summary, the HAV has 1 shot per combat phase with penetration 60 and damage 60, while the HCAP has 6 shots with penetration 20 and damage 10. The right-hand half of the tab shows formation templates. A new formation template is created by clicking the New button. In this case, 4 have already been created. Each template comprises 1 or more template elements, shown in the bottom right section. Each template element has a specific number of specific ground unit class. For example, the Guard Armored Regiment is currently selected, which has 4 template elements: 60 Lehman Russ Battle Tank, 1 Machiaris Command Tank, 12 Hydra Flak Tank, and 24 Hellhound Anti-Infantry Tank. Each template element has the following attributes: the name of the unit class for the element, the number of units of that unit class in this element, the total size in tons of this element. For example, 60 Lehman Russ battle tanks at 104 tons each is 6,240 tons. The total cost in build points for this element, the total aggregate hit points for the element, the headquarters capacity of the element's unit class in tons. If there are multiple units in a template element, only 1 is considered for the headquarters capacity. Any additional units are for redundancy. The headquarters capacity is a total size of the formation or formation hierarchy that can be effectively controlled by commander based on a unit in the component. In the case of the Machiaris Command Tank, it has a HQ capacity of 10,000 tons. The total number of forward fire direction components in the template element. Forward fire direction allows the frontline unit to direct the fire of bombardment units from a formation in a support position, fighters on close air support missions, or ships in orbit. The construction value of the element in construction factory equivalents, the number of close-in weapon system components in the template element capable of defending the planet from missile attack, and the number of surface-to-orbit energy weapon components in the template element, STOs capable of engaging ships in space within weapon range of the planet on which the unit is based. The totals for each template element are added together to create the total for the formation template as a whole, shown in the top right section. In the example shown, the Guard Armored Regiment has a total size of 8,942 tons, which is the combination of all 4 template elements. The formation template list has an additional column for rank. A default rank will be suggested by the program, although this can be overridden by the player. This rank will be used by automated assignment processes for any formations built using this formation template. To add new template elements to a formation template, use the Add Units button in conjunction with the adjacent text field to specify the number of units in the new element. This number can be subsequently edited by selecting the element and clicking the Edit Amount button. Both formation templates and element templates can be deleted using the appropriate buttons. This screenshot shows the Macarius command tank on the left and the Brigade Headquarters formation template on the right. The Macarius is a super heavy vehicle with 2 super heavy anti-vehicle weapons and a HQ-4 component, which provides a headquarters capacity of 10,000 tons. This is a large and expensive vehicle at 518 tons and 93.24 BP, but is well protected as a loss of the HQ in a formation will result in the loss of any commander bonuses, and maybe the commander himself. The Brigade Headquarters formation template includes 2 Guard Brigade Headquarters units, in case one is destroyed, plus 36 large artillery pieces, 12 flak tanks, and a company of guardsmen. Combat involves 3 locations: frontline, support, or rear echelon. Units in a support position can only attack using bombardment weapons, or defend themselves against air attack. This formation is intended to serve in the support location and is organized accordingly. However, it is possible for a support formation to temporarily find itself moved into a frontline position, so the guardsman element will provide additional protection in that case. Now, that is all we have time for today. But don't think that it's over, because the ground combat overhaul is a huge beast and we are not even halfway there. We're probably not even a quarter way there. This is probably going to be a 4-parter. So join me tomorrow where we will continue covering the changes for ground forces in C# Aurora. Down below, links to the official Aurora Discord, Reddit, and the forums where you can join the discussion and the hype. And I will see you next time.